Well, in normal circumstances, this would have been the last week of Season 1, with reveals and previews of the new coming content coming out for both Vanguard and Warzone, and we'd start to see that all within the next 7 days. But as we know, that's not the case. The recent delay of Season 2 has kind of knocked everything off course, and we're left in a sort of limbo period for another 2 weeks here at this point. Today I want to take a look at what we have on deck for this week, limited albeit, but still some things you should know about, but also play some catch up with you guys on a few things that I didn't quite have the opportunity to chime in on as they happened when it comes to big news this past week, given that I was on vacation and I was pretty much off the grid save for Instagram stories and some tweets here and there. So I apologize that we haven't talked about this stuff just yet, but I was taking some time for myself for the first time in as long as I can remember and decided not to engage in anything or have that fear of missing out control my everyday life like it normally does as a YouTuber. Just take some time away. Everything else on the channel was pre-made for about a week or so before these stories would have broken. But that said, we're back in business and now content will resume as normal. So today we're going to be running down a lot of stuff. So if you enjoy it at all, do me a favor, drop a like on the video. Feel free to chime in on anything you'd like to add to the conversation. And if you're new to the channel, if you're part of that nearly 70% of viewers who are not subscribed and you'd like to help us out on the road to 500,000 subscribers, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you in the community. That said, let's jump into it. Firstly, let's start out with what's on deck, because this is going to be a quick little bit. Following the announcement of the Season 2 delay, we'll have 2 more weeks added to the season, which has already accurately been reflected on the Battle Pass countdown timer now, but it's not in the previews of the upcoming playlists on either of the Trello boards for Vanguard or Warzone. Hopefully we get something as of next week to help us navigate that sort of gap period a bit more, but for now, all we know about this week is the Warzone playlist update, which will include Vanguard Resurgence Trios, Battle Royale Solos, Duos, Trios, and Quads, Plunder Trios, and Rebirth Resurgence Duos and Quads. And that's quite literally all we know about for this upcoming week as of right now. Vanguard has kind of stopped previewing these for whatever reason it may be, but we have Warzone's playlist update already on deck, but what we have for Vanguard, that's still a mystery. Strangely though, given that we have an extension, we also don't have any word just yet on if we'll get any sort of in-game events, like an XP event to help that weapon level and progression and give you some new stuff to do here in the meantime while we wait for the new content. So unfortunately, it seems like this next upcoming week may be a bit of a whimper in comparison to other weeks and what cool stuff may lay on the horizon. Though we also may still be seeing some new fixes coming for Vanguard and Warzone in terms of priority fixes, some updates for those, but those aren't guaranteed. While no new content is coming though, one thing that I will say that over the course of the last week we did see was from the official COD Twitters even more emphasis on transparency when it comes to these high level issues. I like that, and I do hope that we still keep continuing to get these. I hope it's not a one-off thing just to kind of please the masses. I'd love to see more updates coming from the direct Call of Duty accounts. More people follow those Call of Duty accounts than any other studio, of course, so that's where a lot of people that may not have this information will be able to get that information. But also, I hope that this leads to actual correction in action and fixes in the games. You can say one thing, but to actually do it is an entirely different thing. Now, that Season 2 delay, this is where we kind of start to play catch up on some of these big stories here that broke as the last week. What's in the gap period? Is it a good thing that we see this delayed? Now, as for what's in the gap period, I would very much so expect, whether it be next week or the following week after that, another XP event of some kind. We normally see a double Battle Pass XP event finish off the season here that could be coming as of next weekend, the weekend following. We don't quite know just yet, but we normally see that happen at the very least, so we may have something tethered there as well, like a double XP, double weapon XP event, also included with that, so it's a triple threat event. But that's probably the extent of what we'll see during this gap period. That's usually how the history has gone here when these extensions happen, but is a delay a good thing? As much as I want new content, I am absolutely fine with this. Season 1 was and still is a wildly buggy mess. I'll probably have a full review of the season towards the end of Season 1 here, but if I'm honest with you, just a kind of brief overview of it, I don't think that I've ever seen a Call of Duty game launch and then take such a massive step backwards in terms of stability. Vanguard's launch, I honestly felt was pretty good by comparison to what we all anticipated. From the year before leading up to it, everybody thought that it was going to be the worst state a Call of Duty game has ever been in. And for the launch itself, save for some things that were corrected in time, like camo bugs and fixes, it was playable. It gave us a lot of content initially at launch. But I've never seen a game that on the Vanguard side of things, after Season 1 had so many broken shot bundles, weapon issues, balancing bugs, and all that, and on the Warzone side of things, to many degrees, it was unplayable for like an entire month, and still has a lot of work that needs to be done. So Season 1 was cool in the sense that it promised and brought with it a lot of content, but a lot of that content didn't actually work properly. Probably the vast majority didn't, if we're being honest with you. So if we can avoid those kind of things, get our things in order a million times, yes, delay that season. I am cool with that. 2 weeks is nothing in the grand scheme of things. I'm cool with patiently waiting a little bit more if that means that our product is actually fixed out and is something that is worthwhile. So that's something that I'm okay with that. The new target date for Season 2 here is February 14th, as announced by Call of Duty. So that's something that will keep you up to date with everything you need to know leading up to it. And we'll have a lot of discussions here from now and then up until that point. So that said, other than that, other big news, the biggest one probably is the pending acquisition of Activision and Blizzard by Microsoft and Xbox. That has so many different things we could talk about in sub detail here at this. Like, what does that mean for the Call of Duty community's public enemy number one, Bobby Kotick? Will we get proper support with players in mind? Will it even happen? What does that mean for PlayStation players? And so much more. So just running down all of that, Bobby Kotick being gone, good. That's all I got to say. Right now, it seems like based off the reports, he says that he'll step down here at this. Now, does this mean that whenever this acquisition happens, that man lines his pockets beyond belief? Absolutely. But if it means that we can finally now shift away from the only profit culture that has been driven by Kotick and the executive board at Activision Blizzard right now, I absolutely see that as a good thing. I have a very limited window into the expertise that is Xbox. I have not been on Xbox platforms, admittedly, for a couple of years now, so Phil Spencer and the Xbox community may still have just as many complaints and gripes as that, but it seems like this should hopefully be a good thing. Now, with that in mind, if we're talking about the potential of moving away from solely a profit-driven thing here, does this mean that we actually see some proper support and things that can help the players out in terms of their enjoyment? Does that mean we get meaningful change and progress in content additions and full, complete game offerings at launch? Will things like skill-based matchmaking be removed? That one I think is personally a long shot, but maybe it happens with that. Now, I guess the big question is, will this ever even happen to begin with? Right now, it seems like it's gaining a lot of attention from regulators in the government, taking a look to see if this is something that qualifies then as a monopoly, or getting too close to it that it may be shut down. Overall, long term, we don't quite know what happens here with this, but it could mean quite a bit for the community, what this means for the future of Call of Duty and all things like that. One of the biggest questions that I've seen is, what does this mean for PlayStation? All signs right now seem to point towards everything staying the same, and to me, that's how I think it will be. Sure, they could pull a move like with Bethesda, where they made it very vague PR talk intentionally, and then pull a fast one, but let's think about it like this. Call of Duty is without a doubt one of the biggest franchises in the gaming industry. It is a titan, and it is something that they could, in theory, pull it from their competitors' platforms. But then you have to think smart in terms of business, because when you own the entire IP, you could make even more money when having the game on your competitor's platform. So maybe you can be petty, you can remove it and cut off a huge supply of Call of Duty players just to try and get them to buy Xboxes, but also, what better way to stick it to your competitor than having them fork over cash with every single unit sold of that IP that you now own to play on their platform? I personally don't see Call of Duty going anywhere for that. You'd lose so much more money than you'd actually gain in relation to that. I don't see Call of Duty players solely making the jump to Xbox for Call of Duty, so therefore the profit margins, I would imagine just based off of guesstimation, are way larger by keeping it on PlayStation. So fingers crossed that's actually how it works, but that's the most logical thing here to me. Now, I will say that hopefully this does mean that now with the IP belonging to Microsoft and Xbox, hopefully this means then we end up seeing better work culture for those involved at Activision Blizzard. Raven in particular right now going through all of that, they ended up just starting the process to be unionized. So that should hopefully be something that in the next couple of weeks, we end up seeing some progress and positive progress towards Warzone. And of course then also just for their well-being, better working conditions in that regard. What this also may mean is the stoppage of annual releases. That's another big thing that was kind of discussed with this in relation to the Microsoft acquisition, but also just in it of itself, Activision Blizzard at a high level seems to be discussing here with this the possibility of this happening, though whether or not we don't quite know. Modern Warfare 2 looks to correct course of the last 2 years the Cold War and Vanguard's lukewarm receptions brought us. And speaking of Modern Warfare 2, it's also now been rumored that we could be seeing an earlier reveal and release of the game in terms of release like October rather than November, so nothing that's really too crunch inducing or anything that hinders the game's readiness to go. So that's kind of of the big stuff here that we missed out of the last week and some big stuff that broke in relation to Call of Duty. Outside of that, the only other stuff that really happened in the Call of Duty scene, we ended up getting that new Attack on Titan bundle, and as of today, the Red Reactor Mastercraft bundle. Both of those are pretty cool. The Red Reactor Mastercraft, if you're an automaton user, that's actually a pretty close to meta build here with that. So if you guys want to check either of those out, if you decide to pick it up and you'd like to support the channel a little further, consider using creator code Espresso to do so, but of course, it's entirely optional. Don't ever feel pressure to do so. It's just another optional way that if you'd like to support the content, you can. But that said, to wrap things up though, I do want to take a second and end on a different shameless plug here, one for which my partners over at GamerAdvantage ended up just releasing their new suppressor lenses for their glasses, which now gives two massive options for those that are interested. The new suppressor lenses are kind of your mid-entry level here, something that is their new sort of base. They're 3 times better than any of the other competitors in terms of what they offer, but they're now rated for more casual use here, something that is more so for 4+ hours of computer, phone, TV, and screen use, whereas the other lenses, the sleeper lenses as they're now called, those are rated for 8+ hours a day, which can also help directly with your melatonin levels. But whether you're casually watching TV on your phone or you're working at your desk every single day, GamerAdvantage has you covered on both fronts now with this. When you're looking to help improve your vision health long term, GamerAdvantage is 100% the way to go. Amazon pairs, those generic pairs, don't quite cut it. And especially when you want to invest in your vision health, why would you want something that just passes? I absolutely swear by the guys over at GamerAdvantage and their product. I've been using their stuff for about a year now with 0 regrets, and I've absolutely felt the positive effects of the product. So if you'd like to learn more, check out the link in the description below. If you'd like to pick something up, use code Espresso for 10% off your entire order. But that said, that's the week ahead and also the week past. So that said, that's what we're gonna call it. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of any of the stuff here that we learned out of the past week? Anything that you're looking forward to with this week? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on the video. And of course, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Vanguard, Warzone, and anything Call of Duty related. We got you covered here on the channel. We're back here at home. Vacation's over. We're back in business, and everything is going to be ramping up here. I got a lot of stuff planned that hopefully you guys will enjoy. So stick around on the channel if you guys are new. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.